good fight, and he was also ready for a fight, so he's going to be in very good condition.
Okay, terrific fight up next involving a rising star from Liverpool. Steve Williams looked exciting so far, hoping for an 8th straight victory. Fights with his heart on his sleeve, confident and doesn't mind trading a few shots either. Up against Slawomir Ziemlewicz from Poland. Looks tough, he's never been stopped. More experience at a higher level. He won the Polish light welterweight title and has had points deducted in a few fights, so he could be a handful. Join this one from the start.
Seconds out, round one.
8th outing and an 8th-rounder for Steve Williams from here in Liverpool, up against Slawomir Ziemlewicz, a tough and seasoned European operator. So we should find out a bit more about Steve Williams tonight, Jim.
Yeah, but this looks like a tricky match, and it also looks like a sign of confidence the camp have in him to take this guy who looks really tough, to take him over the 8-round distance. So they've confidence in Williams, and hopefully he will live up to that confidence tonight.
Ziemlewicz looking quite a physical presence in the ring. Rather bizarre hairstyle though, one has to say, but he looks a fairly tough and gritty customer. He's won 18 of 24.
Yeah, and he looks to have a fairly similar style to Williams. He wants to stand there and let the punches go. So I think this is going to be entertaining.
He's boxing at a much higher level, Ziemlewicz. They have taken the chains off Williams here after 7 straight victories. Good right hand. Really hard worker in the gym, whips himself into shape. Shane Erie was telling us that he really trains like a champion, Steve Williams.
Yeah, well, certainly no scouting mission from either boxer in this one. In the first half of the opening round, Williams maybe the classier looking shots, and there's 2 of them. There's another one. But this fellow looks like a fair handful.
Watch the heads in close, okay?
Quality right hands. Ziemlewicz has never been stopped through his career that started back in 2003. It is a risk, this, from the Williams camp, but he's settling well.
And he's fairly relaxed, Williams. He doesn't waste anything, certainly hasn't in the opening round. He doesn't miss much. Pretty precise with his punches, yet he's in range all the while, but not taking too much. This is an impressive opening round for him, but this looks like going to be a tough one for him.
He's coming off a couple of stoppage victories, Steve Williams, so the confidence is probably high. And they thought maybe this is the right fight at the right time, showcase-wise.
I would think a lot of people taking a chance with Ziemlewicz would take him over the 6-round distance. I think the 8 rounds really is a show of confidence, and it's been an impressive opening round. Hasn't really volunteered to take a backward step through this, Williams.
Especially Ziemlewicz has been 12 rounds on 3 occasions and 10 rounds on 3 occasions too. That's some form. Shows how gritty it is, but the right hands especially of Steve Williams taking him that first round.
Have you ever seen a glacier while sunbathing? Why not? Have you ever climbed a rock wall?
Seconds out, round 2.
Here's the second round, the red and white of Steve Williams from Liverpool, although he's not a football fan. Sticks to his boxing. 25 years of age and a bright start against this hardened Slawomir Ziemlewicz from Warsaw in Poland. Could be a tough encounter, and a good right hand from Ziemlewicz. I think Williams can win this on speed and using that jab effectively and just creeping past Ziemlewicz when he needs to.
I'm just wondering if that's in his nature. He looks to me like the kind of young man who just enjoys standing his ground and out-toughing the other guy. And that will not be an easy task with this fellow. He's meeting him head-on with really good punches. Not flinching when he has to take one back. So I just think the matchmaker can be congratulated for this one. This is a great mix.
He's got an imposing physique, hasn't he, Ziemlewicz, with those big, broad shoulders. They both weighed just over the light welterweight limit at 10-2, but seems a bit bigger and, who knows, maybe tougher. But there's the hand speed of Williams, a touch of class.
Well, I'm hoping as this goes along, Williams can get this fellow on his back foot, because I think he's so strong and pretty impressive coming forward. Again, I think the classier shots in this round are coming from Williams. With not much to split them.
There's the right hand beginning to work for Ziemlewicz, who may need a few rounds to really get started if he's used to the longer distances. Only 3 knockouts on the Ziemlewicz slate, but it might be a case he could grind down Williams. We'll find out more here, definitely, about Steve Williams. It's good action too, Jim.
Yep, but this is a cracker. It looked at an opening round and they've just picked up with the left off. Possible Williams just maybe doing it a little bit more here. But tough round for both men.
A good volley from Steve Williams. Ziemlewicz has been better in this second, but still, the eye-catching shots from Williams, much to the crowd's delight. He's got loads of fans here.
And I think in this kind of fight, it's nice if you can be the one who's that little bit more impressive in the last half minute of the round, because if the referee is swithering to sway one way or the other, that makes his mind up. And certainly in the second half of this round, Williams has been better.
Yeah, good enough beginning to this one for Steve Williams in his toughest encounter to date.
More jabs.
Okay.
More jabs. Right. Don't let him dominate the round, Stevie. All right. Don't let him dominate the pace, sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean, both fighters are just wanting to get on with the job. No fancy Dan. Every shot, a power shot. And there hasn't been a dull second since the first round here. Tremendous action. I just think Williams has nicked the rounds just under the higher quality of his work.
Głęboki bieg wydech, Sławek, kurwa, ty masz charakter, kurwa.
Wszystko jest okej. 10 seconds corners. Seconds out, round 3.
8th professional fight for Liverpool's Steve Williams, the 25th for Slawomir Ziemlewicz, who looks a tough nut, and he's being outboxed, but he is certainly giving it a real go. They've come to win, the Polish team, no doubt about that. And this is good action, really watchable.
Some body shots from Williams, which would be a good plan. Try to take some of the sting out of this fellow. Very, very strong Ziemlewicz.
Steve Gray splits them up. He's hardly had to do anything since that opening bell rang. Good blend of styles. And the two of them are just getting on with it, aren't they?
Yeah, I like the fact that Williams is a little bit more relaxed than Ziemlewicz. I wonder, over the 8-round distance, will that maybe save a little in the tank? But this really is tough.
It's a hard match for someone who only turned pro in February of last year. He was a good amateur, though, Steve Williams. Boxed Amir Khan in the 2005 ABA Championships. Beaten by Khan, also boxed Jamie Cox. At a good level in the unpaid ranks, and they believe he'll make a better pro.
Well, he's landed a good right hand lead, and Ziemlewicz just come right through it. So this is the kind of fellow who could break hearts. I don't expect he'll break Williams' heart. He doesn't like that. But this fellow is not easily discouraged.
He's got to keep concentrating, Williams. He's fresher, he's younger. He should have too much ability for Ziemlewicz.
Ziemlewicz is working a little bit ragged at the moment, whereas Williams is keeping himself together, but not a lot in this round.
Well, they could be close and they could be tough, some of these sessions. But I think that's what they wanted to see from Williams, how he deal with this sort of opponent. They've thrown him in a bit.
Yeah, well, we said when the match was made, obviously they know this is going to be a tough one, and they reckon he's prepared for it, and he is.
Good right hand. That's been the most successful punch he's thrown. That right hand tonight so far. Just the left low at times of Ziemlewicz. Starting to go to the body as well. Finishing the rounds with some sprightly boxing, Steve Williams.
Well, I couldn't split them in the first 2 minutes of this round, but again, I think that the better work in the last minute has just made my mind up, because it was nip and tuck for 2 minutes. But again, Williams responded so well.
Pinching the round, Steve Williams.
You've got to pick it up, Steve.
This year you can save an average of...
Seconds out, round 6.
Steve Williams, amiable, quiet family man with his girlfriend Heather and young daughter Holly. Is a full-time pro, and you get the impression that he's going to be, you know, good value, good entertainment on this professional scene. He's 25 and he's unbeaten, and he's not afraid to take a challenge, Jim.
No, that's the thing. There's no doubts whatsoever. When the going gets tough, he'll be there. Maybe as time goes along, maybe loads of time, they can make a little bit more subtlety in his approach here and there. He can't blast everybody out. But I'm really impressed with what I've seen from him so far tonight. Ziemlewicz backing off now, looking for little bits of breaks here just to get his breath back together again.
Williams has that hard look about him as he digs in the body shots, and the uppercuts to their combinations. Well, this is really good and impressive that he's raising the tempo in the 6th round. He's not looking for a session to hold and get through and, you know, earn a little respite. He just, the engine and tank are there.
No, and in every exchange, he's the one who wants first to step right back up again and pick it up again. Ziemlewicz, with full credit to him, what an effort he's put up. He's the one looking for a little breather here and there.
He's really getting on top now, Williams. And Ziemlewicz, for the first time in the fight, looks bothered.
Well, some fighters in a match like this would have maybe looked for an easy way to get some of the early rounds into the bank before it got tough. But full credit the way Williams stood with this fella when he was strong, and now beginning to take over. I just think this is a tremendous performance from him so far.
And how well do the corner team know him? They told him to step it up, take him to the trenches and fight him now.
Well, they can see that Ziemlewicz is the one looking for breathers, doesn't have the strength he had, not coming forward the way he was earlier. He's actually in big trouble at times here. And Williams still has the snap in his punches.
He holds on for the first time in the fight, Ziemlewicz. And he's won every round, Steve Williams, and if he needed another confidence booster, he's just got it. Could he even become the first man to stop Ziemlewicz? A very one-sided round, the 6th.
I think a lot of the body punches that he landed in the early tough rounds have maybe taken a little bit out of Ziemlewicz as well. Also, Ziemlewicz didn't pace himself at all. The fact that Williams has been relaxed, he still looks relaxed. What a tremendous fight this is.
Hurls punches. Ziemlewicz.
How do you feel, kid?
But a terrible round for him and a great one for Williams.
You're taking over now. You've got to pressure him. He's tired, this lad, Steve.
Okay.
All right, job in his face, Steve. You're working. Stevie, you're doing great.
I get the impression this guy doesn't skip training.
No, you can say that again. I just love the way he sits in his stool between rounds. Not a complaint, just nods his head. I mean, this really is tough. Lots of fighters will be thinking, how do I make this just a little bit easier? But no, he's prepared to do it the hard way. Really, can't praise too highly what I've seen already. Hope this continues for him.
10 seconds.
That's an excellent statistic in Williams' favour. Ziemlewicz is no mug.
Seconds out.
He's a decent operator. 2 rounds left. Can Steve Williams improve even more on what has been a career-best performance already? He must be a mile in front on Steve Gray's card. And it was a tough match when we looked at it on paper before against Slawomir Ziemlewicz, who's had more than 3 times as many fights and all that experience around Europe.
Well, I said earlier, I questioned the wisdom of taking this fellow over the 8-round distance. But now you can see why it showed confidence in Williams. And we've seen why they've got that confidence. But here comes Ziemlewicz again.
That's an excellent sign, though, that he's growing through this fight, Jim, especially when it comes into championship runs, say, in the next year or 2.
Yeah, I like to see young fighters learning how to box, how to fight, not how to build up unbeaten records so as it looks good. I mean, this has been a tremendous match. He's had to work every second here to get a result. Tremendous.
Showing some heart to Ziemlewicz, isn't he? Looked almost out and feeling sorry for himself in the 6th, but he sprung back in the 7th. He's played his part in what's been an entertaining spectacle. Good undercard fight. We've seen a few recently on Friday Fight Night. It's a bit of a throwback, this, Jim. Sorry to interrupt, isn't it?
This is tremendous. I mean, signs in the previous round where that Ziemlewicz was going out of things, but the character he's shown here to get himself right back into it again. Again, coming forward, pumping the punches.
Yeah, immense pride from Ziemlewicz, who was really pumped up before this. He's not a loser on the circuit. He comes to win, and he's come to battle hard. But Williams has battled harder. Good left hook. Was open for that, Ziemlewicz.
Again, Ziemlewicz is the one shaken by Williams' power. Williams has never flinched from any punches he's taken. Several times, Ziemlewicz shaken up pretty badly, looking to hold here.
And Jim, we wondered if Ziemlewicz might grind down Williams. Looks like the other way around.
Yeah, well, the signs in the early rounds, and he looks so big too, for this weight division. I wonder, but no doubts now.
And he just has kept his concentration and his boxing together. His facial expression hasn't really changed at all, Steve Williams. It's a job over 8 rounds, and he's doing that.
To jest ciężka walka. Przeżyłeś 7. rundę, to 8. rundę dajesz teraz na maksa, rozumiesz? Wszystko z siebie! Wszystko z siebie!
They're trying to G him up in that corner. He might have got a share of the last, possibly, but everything else to Williams. He needs to knock out Ziemlewicz.
I mean, there were a couple of the early rounds that maybe, if you fancied, you could lean towards them. I just thought the quality, and we're still seeing that quality. You know, so late in such a tough battle, still seeing quality punching from Steve Williams.
You outwear him, you punch him, all right? Take some on
Look how many they've thrown between them, over 1,000 there. Really good 8-round fight, but the quality with Steve Williams.
10 seconds, corner. Seconds out for the 8th and final round.
They took the mini gamble, the chance to rise him up in class, and so far it has totally paid off for Steve Williams, who's been tremendous tonight.
Yeah, well, you can see I've only given Ziemlewicz a share. Okay, the referee may have been a little bit kinder in a couple of the earlier rounds, but the main thing is Williams is winning this one. And what a night's work it is.
And I think the key thing is, Jim, he's working harder now, maybe, than he even did in the first, Steve Williams. He really is improving as this has gone on.
Well, you were mentioning that you've been told he had a good engine. I like the fact that he's relaxed, he doesn't waste anything. There's nothing fancy Dan about him, but he doesn't waste punches. He's not crude in the slightest. A couple of little bits of subtlety maybe could be added to his style, but there's nothing too much I would change about him, and the character he's shown here tonight has been tremendous. This has been a great battle.
Yeah, the action has just flowed and the fans have loved it. A few Polish supporters on their feet trying to cheer on Ziemlewicz, who's played his part, no question about that. But Steve Williams, I think he's going to be a tough opponent for a lot of people at domestic level, Jim.
Yep, well, he's going to be there at the first bell and he's going to be there at the last bell, unless you can spring something special on him. Tremendous spirit, tremendous character he's shown here, as well as a fair bit of skill.
Has just picked up a little bit of eye damage late on. And with only a minute 15 to go in the fight, it won't be a problem. Might just keep him out for a little bit. Didn't need it, but that's boxing. Tough, gritty, honest, and a good impression we're going to leave here tonight with Steve Williams. Last minute of this.
Yeah, and again, Ziemlewicz responding, maybe giving as good again as he's getting in this round. Amazing what both these young men have shown tonight.
It's been grueling. Plenty of wills and hearts on display, and they're still going at it. Last 30 seconds. And the crowd should rise on their feet after this one. It's been good. Bundled over. And wearily gets to his feet. But he's been a tough soldier, hasn't he, Ziemlewicz?
Yeah, and what he's come up with in the last couple of rounds has been tremendous. You know, it looked as though in the sixth round, as if he was well out of this. But what he's come back with, it's been amazing. He thinks he's won it, but he hasn't. Tremendous performance from Steve Williams. Thought that was top draw.
Cracking undercard fight here in Liverpool, and a really good winner. Steve Williams comes of age at 25. He threw bundles, he landed plenty. It was quality. 8 out of 8 now for Williams, and this guy could be going places.
Well, if they had to find out something about him, they found it out tonight. You don't have to worry about this fellow. He'll be there for you till the end.
Well done, Steve Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 rounds of international action, referee Steve Gray has scored the contest. For Ziemlewicz, 74 points. For Williams, 80 points. Your winner, still undefeated from Liverpool, Steve Williams.
Coped quite well, but it was a lot harder than I expected.
Shane Neary, did that bring some memories back for you?
Do you know, you can't take nothing away from Stevie. He bit hard on his gum shield when he had to, and he really put a great performance up there. I'm really proud of him. He showed a lot of guts.
He's trained very hard for this fight. He knew it was his big chance. He's always been an underdog, Stevie, and he's took fights at short notice, and he's done the damage. He deserves everything he gets, this lad, because he works very hard, like my boy Shane Neary.
Got good people behind him, and he impressed after being thrown in at the deep end there, Glenn.
Well, it was the deep end as well, wasn't it? Ziemlewicz, he's got only 4 losses in 24 fights, so that was a tough one for a novice. But you know, that he could have made that a little bit easy. But he knew if he let Ziemlewicz in the fight, it was always going to be very hard. He knew he had to bully him, he had to take the fight away from him, and that's exactly what he did. And that, you know, that was really good for the crowd and an excellent win.
And it is a real crowd-pleasing style he's got, isn't it?
Oh, very much so. You know, he's going to just gain crowds. You know, the fans are going to follow him, and he's always going to put on terrific fights. That's the sort of guy he is.
8 fights in, how long before we can talk about him in title contention?
You know, I don't think it's going to be that long, because he's 25 years of age, and I think they'll want to push him on, and I think because he's strong and mature, he can handle it, so I don't think long.
Tough division, though, as we saw earlier tonight, didn't we, Glenn?
It is a tough division, but I think, you know, he's got the sort of heart, the sort of characteristics that you want